All right, it's Prop the Mic. We are live. This is going to be a nice, short and sweet podcast. We just have two games, one NBA game today, but it is our Knicks playing, Dave, and then we got the Monday Night Football with Jordan's Cowboys playing. So I figured it'd be a good day to get a. You're not taking ownership of the Cowboys. You can see
I'm
Dave and
still
I are
taking
taking
ownership quite clearly.
We're taking ownership of the Mets. You could say we just got a quick shout out to Steve Cohen and the Mets for signing Juan Soto. Thank you very much. That was awesome.
Pretty awesome that they brought him from the Yankees. That's gotta be loving as a Mets fan, kind of sticking it to the Yankees that way. So
yeah, it doesn't get any better than that. Not sure why I'm not seeing our feed on X here. It was working for a second. Dave, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm looking. I don't see it up there. Oh no, yeah, we're live.
Yeah?
Yeah, we're good.
We're good? Okay. All right. Let's just intro real quick. Before we get started, I want to remind everyone of the special promo we've got going on with Props.cash. Give PTM viewers 50% off their first month using code PTM50. You're going to see us using Props.cash here in just a moment, so take advantage of the opportunity to try it out for yourself. 50% off your first month using code PTM50. All right. What's up, guys? Everybody have a good weekend?
Yeah, it's a good weekend.
Yep.
It's a busy weekend. Just battling through I would say NFL yesterday was a mixed bag. Like we kind of struggled a little bit through the afternoon and games, but then we crushed the Sunday night football game, so that was fun.
Yeah,
good way to finish the night. And NBA's been up and down. Like we've actually been doing pretty good on our picks. We've been leaning pretty heavily on these PRA combo altered PRAs, which I know Jordan's also big on as well, and that's been working out really well. We also, like within our Discord, we study the kind of overall market and how the overall market's doing. And basically since December 2nd, like the overall win rate for overs has been down significantly in the NBA. So just leaning heavier on alts to kind of get through this lower period. And it's been working out fine. So
might be leaning on a few of those tonight as well. I got a couple I'm already targeting for this game. Unfortunately, the one problem with these PRA alt builders is that they don't the lines come out very late in the day. So it's a little tricky sometimes. At the time we podcast, a lot of times they're not out yet, but we could still give out some lines for where we're gonna play them when the lines come out later. But is that where you want to start? NBA?
Yeah, let's start with NBA. Like you said, it'll be quick. We have one game tonight, the Knicks and Toronto Raptors. You know, it's so interesting how they did the scheduling of this game. It's kind of a random game. This is the NBA Cup week, so the knockout round of NBA Cup. So I think there are 2 games tomorrow for NBA Cup. Then there's just a couple regular season games that they slotted in for Wednesday. Then 2 more games for NBA Cup. 2 more games for NBA Cup on Thursday, I believe, and then the
I think it's NBA Cup on Wednesday too.
On Wednesday, okay, and then I think this weekend is the Final Four or whatever you call it. So it's I do like the NBA Cup, but this week in particular just is kind of such a drag when it comes to kind of having any sort of momentum. But given that the market's been down for NBA props, that's probably a blessing in disguise. So
yeah, could be.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's start with tonight's game. Jordan, we'll start with you. Anything popping out for the RJ Barrett revenge game / OG revenge game?
Yeah, I do like some alt PRA builders. We can talk about that in a minute. Just regular props though. You brought up RJ Barrett. I actually like his rebounds and assists line today. I actually got it at 10.5 at -125 on actually -120 on DraftKings.
Yeah, it's still available there. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So and it looks like at one point it was plus 105 on BetMGM, but that's long gone. It's like minus 140 when I looked last.
Mhm.
But yep, in his only matchup against the Knicks, he had 12. He's not going back to the Garden, but still, just he's done this pretty consistently. 7 of the last 10, even 14 out of 21 on the season. And if you look at just home games, he was done it in 7 out of 10. So, that I would probably slate him more as a small forward, and the Knicks defense are 29th in rebounds versus small forwards. So, and I was kind of looking at like what you were just looking at just down there, some of those players that recently faced them, some small forwards. I would kind of ignore a few of these because you're looking at players from Detroit and Charlotte and then Orlando and then the Pelicans, and they're all terrible offensive teams.
Right.
So those are all just like, and there's like you're looking at Tristan Da Silva or Cody Martin or Ron Holland. So if I only get into some player like Porter, Markkanen, I would say he's probably more power forward. There's just been some players who've done well, in that little small forward.
Yeah, Zach
slate.
LaVine at
Yeah.
15 RA is great. Paul George.
Yeah.
Paul George is a little bigger, right? RJ is
Yep.
only like 6'6", I think, but
yeah. But I mean, still, regardless of that, I mean, it's a like you said, it's a revenge game. So I'm kind of feeding into that one. So yeah, that's my first rebounds and assists prop that I have today. What'd y'all have?
yeah, I think I think I like RJ. Like you said, a little extra motivation in this game. Just keep in mind, Scotty Barnes comes back. He's been back for I don't know what, a week or so.
Yeah.
Obviously consumes a lot of those rebounds and assists as well. But
Yeah,
RJ still seems to be doing well with him in the lineup. So
yeah, that's why I did filter with him with Scotty Barnes, and he's still cleared in looks like 5 out of the last 6 missed versus the Mavericks. He actually he had like 27 minutes against the Mavericks, sat like the final like 8 minutes of that game. Hooked me out of $1,000. So I don't think that's going to happen again, though. I don't think he's going to sit, that big of a period of time against, and especially in this game against the Knicks. Hopefully the coaching staff doesn't do that. And so, otherwise, I was like, he's been doing great with Barnes on the floor, and Barnes was actually the other guy that I had played rebounds and assists for today. I got it 15.5 minus 130 on DraftKings. So that he was the other guy I was looking at. Because just look at those last 7 games. He's been crushing it. So those are the two guys I was looking at for tonight as far as the old obscure rebounds and assists. And while you're down there, look at that usage rate that he's had over the last few games. He's had some like monster usage rates.
Yeah.
So really like that spot.
All right, nice. Yeah, I mean, there was just one player who was popping out on our model today, and that was Cat. Both from a rebounding standpoint, 12.5 rebounds seems like good value for him. You could see over the last 7 games, 6 out of his last 7. He did sit out, I think, the last game that the Knicks played. And then assists was also a good matchup. So if you kind of combine it together and you look at his RA, and you look at some comps against Toronto, Isaiah Hartenstein's probably a decent comp from that standpoint. He had 22 RA. Bam in back-to-back games had 27 and 20. Jalen Duren, who's really not much of an assist guy, but more of a rebounder, 16 RA, and then Jared Allen 15 before that. So some pretty good comps. They have Pirtle there to grab rebounds, but Pirtle's like an 8 or 9 rebound guy, not a 12 rebound guy. So there's going to be plenty of opportunities for Cat if he plays. Tom and I were discussing that before. We think there's a chance that Cat could sit out of this one just because, they should be able to beat the Raptors even without Cat, and they might be looking more towards the the cup game that they got coming up in the next 2 days. So
I was gonna say he's done well away as well with the rebounds and assists.
yeah, look at that.
And especially, I see someone else I was actually looking at for this, clearing 8 out of the last 10. And then just looking at his assists over the last like 6 games away, he's done really well there. He's clearing 5 out of the last 6 and easily clearing. So I really like that spot.
I mean, look at some of the center I mean, if you just scroll down on props like cash, that looks like, probably 80% of the centers that are facing the Raptors are clearing their assist line.
Yeah.
You get guys like Hartenstein, who's not, he's a good assisting center, but not his primary strength. Getting 6 on a line of 4. You got Bam back-to-back games, 7 and 10. So yeah, I think it's a good spot for assists. I like his rebounds. I like his RA. So that was really the one guy who's popping out. We also have him in a builder in the Discord. You can check it out for 10 plus rebounds, which to me is like, if he does play, that's a kind of a home run this year. He's like, he's just grabbing boards like every game. It's funny. We played him. We played him a lot last year in builders, and his builder line last year was always 6 rebounds. It was like 5 or 6 rebounds we played him for. Now that he's in the center position for the Knicks, he's just dominating. I think he's actually leading the league in rebounds per game. Is that right? Do you guys know?
I think he might be. Yeah.
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 He's super consistent.
I'm just worried. I don't know. This line tells me 6.5 points. I feel like if he was playing, that line might be a little bit higher. No? If they were thinking he was going to play, I don't know. I could just see him sitting him out since he didn't play the other night. Keep him out one more day. You could rest him up till Wednesday. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if you think that, then play him. Play him by himself, right? Play him for rebounds or for RA. Yeah. If and keep him out of builders. This way, if he doesn't play, it just voids, right? So no harm.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Tom. Anything you like in this one?
Yeah, I had a couple just like of these PRA builder legs that I was liking, and I see they just the majority of them just released on FanDuel, so I was actually cooking one up right now. Sick. So I have a 2-legger that gets us plus 101. So let's start there. We talked about him already. Scotty Barnes, 31.5 PRA. He's done this in 9 games this season when he's played 32 plus minutes. 9 for 9 this season when he's played 32 plus minutes to get over 31.5 points, rebounds, and assists. That's a beautiful all green chart right there. That leg's minus 290. We could pair that with Josh Hart, also PRA. Him you can put at 25.5. And he's done that when he's played 33 plus minutes. He's done that in 16 of 19 games this season.
Nice.
I think we have him projected for 38 minutes in this game, I want to say. So you put those two together, plus 101 right now. I like those 2 builder legs.
Yeah, I'm just curious if you do think Cat's not going to play him, you have to figure. I mean, I was going to say you'd have to figure that Hart would benefit from that from a rebounding standpoint. So 2 games without Cat, he put up 32 and 26.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Josh Hart is he's kind of like the perfect guy for an alt PRA because he.
Yes. We were just talking about this before.
Yeah, he can contribute in every way, right? He could put up 10 assists. He could put up 10 rebounds. He could put up 10 plus points. So seems pretty conservative. I like that. Jordan, you have any other alt PRAs that you were looking at for this one?
Yep, they just actually closed a bunch. I think they're probably going to reopen it. We'll find something out soon. But RJ Barrett's has been pretty good. If Cat plays, his is good. But RJ Barrett, we're already looking at rebounds and assists, so why not look at points, rebounds, and assists? And yeah, if you look at something around 25 with him, he could even bump it up to, I like 25. I think he'll get 25 tonight. And if you just look at home games, he's cleared in every single home game so far this season. So I like him. I mean, he's probably gonna put up some numbers in this game against the Knicks. So he's one I like. I actually like Pirtle. Pirtle. I don't know how to say his last name. I always mess it up.
Pirtle. So it's
yeah.
with a silent R or an R that is not in the name. So
yeah. So he's been really consistent at home as well. I would probably like do over like around 21 and a half or 21, but yeah, still like him. I might just put something together for this game, like that's gonna be like worth a half unit around plus 200 or something like that, just for fun. So yeah, I like that look at from him as well. And then if I don't know if Cat's gonna play or not, but and it's a little risky putting him in a builder. So that's why I was saying like I'm looking more around plus 200, plus 300 for something with him, because 35 points, rebounds, and assists is pretty money for him.
Yeah,
this season. So he's one of the most consistent players. It's like there's a few guys that I've kind of been running into a lot with these PRA builders. Cat is one of those guys. Scotty has been one. Vucevic has been one. Sabonis has been one. So there's a few of these guys that like they're just putting up, stats, counting stats every single game. And Towns is one of those guys.
Yeah. Tom, you have the list in front of you there? Who are the other players that have available alts for this game?
So they dropped and now they're all gone again. They all locked up. So I don't know
they knew that we were talking about them. They were like,
yeah,
we're gonna lock this up.
Everything's gone now. So
yeah.
Sneak
other ones to consider. We won't look at all there, but we talked about Pirtle, Barnes, Towns, Barrett, Hart.
We're not
other guys
talk about OG. We're not going to talk about OG and the
yeah. That's what I was going to say. The other 3 guys that are on our list to potentially look at are actually Grady Dick for 15 and a half. I'm not sure if an alt would even be available for him. Mikal Bridges at 18 and a half, and then OG. Also, we can look at OG in his return to Toronto. I think Tom, you said this is his first game in Toronto, right?
Yeah, I think he played the Knicks once at MSG last season, I believe, after the trade. But I don't believe he's been back to Toronto yet.
No, he has not.
Yeah, so I like his that he was not one of the ones that was up there yet because I was looking for that one. But his a PRA line of him of 21 and a half, he's done in 16 of his last 19 games. So basically, if we just lop off those first 4 games of the season, he had that little down stretch right there with the 16-17 or so. But otherwise, 16 of his last 19 games, regardless of minutes filter, he plays very consistent minutes. He's not one of these guys that you see has like low minute games like Tibbs. If you're playing for Tibbs, you're playing minutes. So that's why these guys.
Yeah.
We were talking about that as well, right? Guys on the Knicks are good, especially guys like Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, good guys for these sort of alted PRA builders.
Yeah, I feel like OG's either going to put up like this game tonight where he had 15
or 17.
Like goes back and like watches the tribute video.
Yeah,
and gets a little emotional and like forgets to play. Watching videos of him and Pascal. And then, or he's going to put up one of these 49ers, like where he just goes off. So I don't know what to think about him, but 19 and a half would be really great for him.
Yeah.
If you need to play it up to 21 and a half, that's probably also good. So
yeah.
Anyway, play around with those. Those PRA alt builders are particularly great for certain guys like Jordan was mentioning. There's just guys who contribute in every stat category, but are not necessarily consistent scoring, not consistent rebounding, not consistent assists. But when you put all 3 categories together, really nice, and you can get like some significantly altered down lines for minus 300. You put two of those together, and you got a near plus 100 builder. So,
Yes, sir.
something we've been experimenting with, having really good success. So give that a shot yourself
Yeah.
tonight, and I think they'll be particularly
Something that-
good for these NBA Cup games as well, where players are going to be playing like playoff like minutes.
Yeah.
Sorry, what were you going to say,
Oh,
Jordan?
yeah, 100%. No, yeah, I'm sorry for interrupting you.
You're fine.
I was gonna say something I've noticed is if you put at least two players on the same team together, like you can even like, so say minus 250 and minus 250 should give you plus 100, right? You can
Mhm.
actually do something closer to like minus 300 from guys on the same team
Oh,
because
interesting.
they're, so that's something I've been noticing, that like I can put two guys on the same team together, like alt it down quite a bit, and then like put like one more from the other team. So it could be like two minus 600 legs, and then like a minus 300 leg, and that'll get you close to plus 100. So it's been something interesting I've been kind of playing around with, seeing how they calculate the odds and everything. It's been a fun thing to play with lately.
Yeah, I think that's good advice. We have our own little Excel sheet that we use to calculate the expected odds for a parlay, but there's tons of them out there on just Google one. When you create a builder or a parlay, just type in the individual leg odds into one of those calculators. Just search parlay calculator, and just see what it returns, and then see what the sportsbook are offering you, and seeing if you're getting a positive correlation or a negative correlation, where the odds are above that or below that. It's always interesting.
Yeah.
So, all right. So I think that's good for this game. You guys got anything else
Nah.
before we move to NFL?
Let's Monday Night Football. Let's go.
All right. Monday Night Football. We got the Bengals and we got Jordan's Cowboys. How we feeling about this game, Jordan? Heavy
It's
sigh.
just, it's just a it's like a shrug. That's how I feel about the whole season. I'm sure that's how Tom feels about the Jets. It's just a shrug.
Yep.
I just feel like I felt like the Cowboys just sat on their hands this offseason, and then we're paying for it right now. I mean, we lost Dak too. That's probably been season over anyways. But
yeah.
I mean, there's some guys I like a lot is on the Cincinnati side of the ball, but not on the Dallas side. So,
I mean,
yeah,
the Cowboys are 1-5 at home. They're minus 4.5 at home. I mean, that's like unheard of. This is one of those weeks where you're like, I wish the season was not 17 games, because still got a long.
We're up to 5.5 point home dogs.
Oh, 5.5 home dogs. So yeah, most of the opportunities I think are on the Bengals side. Jordan, why don't you kick us off and tell us what you're liking the most for the Bengals?
Yeah, well, I like the most is Joe Burrow. I'm actually, I love these longest plays. I'm going with his longest pass or a pass longest completion. Yeah, he's done so great this year with that 8 out of the last 10. Even like going just back to the full season, he's was that 9 out of his last 11. So really love that. And just looking at some of the comps, of players who have played against them, we're going to ignore Drew Lock because he's garbage. And then we're going to look at Jaden Daniels, like 86. I mean, you're just going through the list. You're like, oh, CJ Stroud, 37, Hurts, 44. Just all these guys who are clearing their line. Some of them very easily. And then if you just want to like tackle another little, thing on that, you could just look at his prime time. He's done prime time this year. He's done it in 3 out of 4.
Yeah.
Only game he's missed, surprisingly, was against New York Giants. So, but yeah, this is I really like this spot for him tonight. It's in a dome. Should help things. Weather's not going to be messing around with anything. So, looking for him to chuck one deep to Jamar or T, and hopefully cash this in the first half for us.
Yeah, it should be definitely doable. I don't know how you feel about rooting for that as a Cowboys fan, but I think at this point you're
It's an emotional
prioritizing.
hedge.
Yeah, you're prioritizing winning your bets over a Cowboys victory. So, all right, Tom, what do you like here?
Let's see. I put together a little receptions builder. So we can just run through this one real quick. We'll start on the Cowboys side. 2 receptions for Tolbert. He's done that in 11 straight games, minus 320. So a nice leg for a builder. Then we can go to Uncle Rico, also 2+ receptions. He's averaging 4 targets per game with Cooper Rush at quarterback. And he's done this in all 5 games with Rush at quarterback. That leg's minus 420. So that's getting you there, minus 320, minus 420. Then we can run over to the Bengals side. We'll go with Jamar Chase, 5 receptions. His targets the last 5 weeks, you can go down there, 9, 13, 17, 11, and 11. So
Wow.
He hasn't been targeted fewer than 9 times in the last 5 weeks. If we look at him when he's had 9+ targets, he's done this in 29 straight games, getting to 5 receptions when he's had 9+ targets. That dates all the way back to 2021. Yeah. He's 20 for 20. You can click on last 30 and you can see he's done it in 29 straight games. That leg is also minus 420. So I think those 3 together get you to like plus 110, something like that. And then my final leg, so you could just play those 3 if you wanted even money. But I like Chase Brown, 3 receptions, minus 280. So this is the best leg odds wise. That we're giving out here. I just loved, look at his last 4 weeks. Look at how his snap percentage jumped up the last 4 weeks. He hasn't played fewer than 80% of the snaps for the Bengals over the last 4 weeks. And look at his targets, 3, 7, 11, and 5 over those last 4 weeks. And the receptions right there, 3, 5, 9, and 5. So you get him for 3+ receptions, minus 280. You put all 4 of those together, plus 190. I love this for a nice little high probability receptions builder for this game.
Love that. All right.
Yeah,
Jordan, do you have anything else?
One of the things I was looking at Chase Brown as well. So if you actually go to click on injuries and just find, with Zach Moss out, those are the 4 games that we've been seeing
That's when it jumped up.
Yeah. So
and
then just those last 4. Yeah. So I like him. I might actually have a builder on my own with 3 receptions from him. So we'll just leave it there. And then I actually had CD Lamb at 40+ receiving yards.
Are we confident in CD here after the Thanksgiving game and everything's cool now, or what's going on there?
He's gonna be fine. He's gonna be fine. Like,
right.
I mean, he dropped to he dropped to very we lost Dave. He dropped to like that would have easily put him over that. I don't see him like doing that again.
Okay.
And they were blowing out the Giants, so they could just shut him down. I think they're gonna be chasing. Jerry Jones doesn't want to for some reason doesn't want to lose games and get a better draft pick. So I looked at like over his last 30, he's cleared 26 out of 30. And then even if you look at like games without Dak, so I just clicked on that. He's cleared in 8 out of 10 without Dak. Getting hooked this last game.
Yeah.
And then T. Higgins was the last one I was looking at. And I had him for 50+, which he's done in 6 straight. He's actually done 60+ in 6 straight. So yeah, that's what I had put together. It was plus 116 on FanDuel for those 3. And then also another thing I had for Chase Brown, if you want to go back to him, I just have him clearing his receiving yards line, which looks like that's actually moved up since I gave out the play this morning. Odds I got it at 24.5 for -110 on FanDuel. So I really like this. Like we were talking about, without Zach Moss, these last 4 games, he's cleared this easily. All 4. The Cowboys have been giving up. They're 26th in receiving yards to running backs. So they've been giving up a lot of yards to running backs through the air. And yeah, just looking at his targets last 4, 5, 11, 7, 3. So, he doesn't have to have, he can probably catch 2 balls and clear this pretty easily. So really like this spot. Anything running backs against the Cowboys is probably going to be good. Anything against the Cowboys really is going to be good.
Yeah, seems pretty good.
Everything okay?
Did y'all have anything else from this game?
I started the pod. I had like 70% battery on my laptop, and then I was like looking at it was about to die. It's still about to die. So if I
we have I'm glad you're good. We have Bets from the Boot chiming in here, telling us to take a look at Tolbert's longest reception, which I took a sneak.
I was
peek
looking at that too.
Yeah, so Cliff
few
is
I've
on that
got
one. He's done that in a bunch of games this season. Looks like he's done it in 9 of his last 11, 9 of 12 overall in the season at 14.5. Seems like a nice spot.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, last 3 weeks. I don't love, looks like he was good. He was good getting there when Dak was there, and now maybe he's reforming that connection with Rush. You see, the first 2 weeks with Rush, he didn't get there, but since then he's that nice 36 last week. Good.
Yep. If you want to talk another obscure Cowboys wide receiver, I'm contemplating playing Tolbert, or not Tolbert, Turpin. Sorry, one of those guys that starts with a T. So we got him like first drive, in last week in his rushing receiving line. I think he got like a rush and a reception that same drive.
Yeah.
So I still actually like, even though it's 15.5, I still like his rushing plus receiving yards line. So yeah, just looking at those last little stretch of games, he's been doing great. And if you just click on primetime games, it seems like they want to just get the ball in his hands in these bigger games. So he's cleared easily in the last 4. So I really like it. I still think it's, he's been explosive with the ball in his hands. They've got to have somebody that does something like that. CDs. He's probably the only other player that's like, Dowdle's been okay, but he's not. I wouldn't call Rico Dowdle explosive. He had like their first 20+ yard rush this last week against the Giants. So
yeah.
I think like somebody who's exciting with the ball in his hands is Turpin, and I think they got to do it. So that's something else I'm looking at.
Yeah, he had 5 targets in the last game, so definitely seems like I don't know if you'll get him for an alt up anywhere, but it seems like you can get him. Probably not for rush and receiving, but maybe just for receiving could be a good option to kind of take a little gamble on and try to get him for 25+ or something like that.
Yeah, if we're gonna do something like that, that's a little risky. There is something I kind of like. If you want to do like him for like 40 or 50 receiving yards, and then a guy who I like to actually potentially score 2 touchdowns tonight is Jamar Chase. So if you look at his last, just looking at primetime again, he's the odds are plus 425. So it's not as great as you would think for 2 touchdowns. But look at those 4 games he's played in primetime this year. He scored 2, 3, and 2. So this Cowboys secondary is not anything to write home about. So if there's one you could do it against, it would be it. So
all right, beautiful.
Who knows what those odds would be, but not so lotto.
All right, so real quick for me, just one play, Joe Burrow, 9.5 rushing yards. Actually, we got it for 8.5, still available on FanDuel for 8.5. If you look at his last 5 games, take off the primetime filter, he's cleared this in 4 out of 5. For the first time in my life, I used the turf filter on props.cash, and you can see on turf, he's cleared this in 5 straight. But, the real reason was the Cowboys over the last 8 weeks are giving up the most rushing yards to opposing QBs, including Drew Lock, who Jordan just dumped on, but he did put up 57 rushing yards against the Cowboys. Jaden McDaniels, 74, Stroud, 26, Jalen Hurts, 56, Brock Purdy, 56. So lots of examples of quarterbacks putting up 20 plus, and we just need 9. I think Joe Burrow is a competitor. This team's garbage this year. They're not going anywhere, but he still wants to win this game. Third down, just like we won last night on Mahomes, 9.5. Longest rush, I think Joe Burrow take off on a third down. Get this. I'm calling a first quarter cash on this one.
All right, let's go.
Love that.
Let's go.
All right. You guys got anything else in this one?
No, let's wrap it up.
I'm gonna say
Sorry.
one more. I'm kind of wanting to see if y'all are interested in. I was also looking at Jamar Chase longest reception, and I was just saying this Cowboy secondary is trash, and he's been clearing easily the last 3 games. He cleared easily. He had a little lull. So it's either him or T that I was looking at, but I really like Jamar to clear this line.
I mean, listen, if he's going to score 2 touchdowns, he's definitely going to get a 30-yard bomb. So
yeah,
you'd think,
a lot of these are more like some parlay pieces. If people are interested in like just sprinkling on this game, this feels like one of those games like, hey, run like maybe 2-3 straights, if that, and then if you just want to sprinkle around to entertain yourself, then there you go.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Very good. All right. Well, that was we went a little long on just 2 games, but that's the usual. But some good pieces here to put some nice plays together for tonight. So thanks everyone for tuning in. Cliff, appreciate you. Appreciate the comments here. Yeah, thanks everyone. Let's lock in those bets and let's all make some money tonight.
Let's go.
That's good. Let's do it.